But remember, as we discussed, those nominal wages eventually.
Oh yeah, go on.
Sorry, like the Phillips curve like
Oh, go for it.
is like as inflation goes up or down, like employment goes up and down. That's what the Phillips curve is. What is the Phillips curve?
You are so close. It is exactly that seesaw relationship between inflation and unemployment.
What is fascinating here is the slope itself. It is usually drawn as a downward curve.
Right, because when inflation is high, unemployment tends to be low and vice versa.
But here is the catch. That slope only really holds up in the short run.
Because eventually, like we talked about with the bakery, those nominal wages catch up.
Exactly. In the long run, just like aggregate supply, the trade-off actually disappears.
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
So, what is the relationship between inflation and unemployment?
That is the big question that ties this whole economic puzzle together.
Think of it like a trade-off that mostly happens in the short run.
Right, when demand is high, prices go up, which is basically inflation.
And since businesses are making more money, they hire more workers to keep up.
So high inflation usually means more jobs and lower unemployment for a while.
That inverse relationship is what economists call the.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, really? So, like, you're saying if there's high inflation, then employment is low inflation.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
But when would it be like? When would the Phillips curve not work? Like, it's like, oh,
Yep, go on.
why the heck do we have high inflation and high unemployment?
That is the exact question that kept economists up at night for decades.
It is what happens when that short run seesaw we just described totally breaks down.
Right, because if the short run is about demand, sometimes the supply side causes the mess.
Exactly. If production costs suddenly spike, businesses might raise prices while also cutting staff.
So you get the worst of both worlds, which is definitely not what the Phillips curve predicts.
This is why we say the trade-off only really works when things are driven by demand.
And as you mentioned earlier, in the long run, that whole relationship just kind of evaporates.
Because eventually those nominal wages catch up and the economy returns to its natural potential.
Regardless of, oh yeah, let's hear it.
Wait, what causes inflation again?
That's a great fundamental question to circle back to, especially after all these curves.
Simply put, inflation is just a general rise in the level of prices over time.
Right, it's like when that loaf of bread at our bakery starts costing more every month.
It often happens. Hey, yeah, what's up?
Oh, so you're saying that this is cylindrical. Wait, is that right? No. No. So is this unemployment?
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
So is this unemployment frictional or structural?
Oh, I see what you're doing there. You are digging into the types of unemployment.
It's a great catch. While the source material focuses on the overall rate, those categories really matter.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Frictional is usually about people just moving between jobs,
Exactly, like our airplane expert taking a week to find a new hangar to work in.
whereas structural is when,
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
So you're saying like the frictional and structural is just the natural rate of unemployment, so it's like sort of stable, like as in like this is like a stable amount of unemployment people have just naturally, because like they're like in between,
Oh, go for it.
they're in between jobs or there have been structural changes. But like you're saying like this, based off the Phillips curve, this unemployment on top of the frictional structural, there's some kind of cylindrical unemployment happening, as in like these are jobs lost due to the downturn in the economy.
ah, yeah, uh-huh.
So like as because of this downturn in the economy,
Oh, yeah, go on.
like there is a recession. So like
Oh, go for it.
because of that there are more job losses because of the downturn in the economy. So in that sense, inflation should go down.
You are absolutely on fire today. You just connected cyclical unemployment directly to the Phillips curve.
Exactly. When the economy hits a downturn, demand drops, leading to job losses and usually lower inflation.
That is that cyclical part you mentioned, the ups and downs that stabilization policies try to fix.
Right, and it's very different from the structural unemployment we were just about to unpack.
Structural is much tougher, like when those airplane skills aren't needed in a car-dominated economy.
In that case,
Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
But then why the heck is inflation really high? Like really, really high, and
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
and unemployment is high.
that is the million-dollar question, and it points to a phenomenon called stagflation.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate economic nightmare where the typical rules just break down.
Exactly. It's when those supply shocks we mentioned earlier really wreak havoc on the system.
So even if demand is low, prices spike because production costs are through the roof.
And that leads back to that structural unemployment we were just about to unpack.
Right, because if an industry collapses due to costs, those workers are stuck.
They're stuck in a car-dominated economy when they only have airplane skills.
It means the labor force has to totally retrain because their old skills no longer match.
It's a complex dance between technology, skills, and the market's shifting needs.
Thanks for hanging out and asking such sharp questions.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So then because
Yep, go on.
so are in a recession, does inflation go down?
You are thinking about the standard scenario where aggregate demand takes a major dip.
Right, in a typical recession, people stop spending, and that aggregate demand curve shifts left.
Exactly, and when that happens, the general price level usually falls, or at least slows down.
So in that specific case, you were totally right. Inflation would actually go down.
But remember that stagflation nightmare we were just talking about a moment ago?
That is the exception where prices rise, even though the economy is technically shrinking.
It really depends on whether the recession was caused by low demand or high costs.
It is all about which curve is moving and how the market tries to balance.
I have really enjoyed unpacking these complex curves and
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, well, so the production possibilities frontier.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Like you can calculate the opportunity cost and the production possibilities frontier, and then calculate
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
advantages, like the opportunity cost of certain things, like versus the other, and then the absolute advantage
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
of that.
But oh, don't stop there. I can tell you're right on the edge of a great point.
It sounds like you're thinking about how we actually put numbers to these concepts, doesn't it?
Like how we look at a table of data and decide who should make what.
Exactly. That is where we calculate opportunity costs to find what we call a comparative advantage.
Right, if country A gives up fewer cars to make an airplane than country B does.
Then country A has the comparative advantage. They're the low-cost producer in terms of what's sacrificed.
And when countries specialize based on that, they can actually consume beyond their own production curve.
It is like magic, but it is just the efficiency of trade making everyone better off.
Even if one country has an absolute advantage and is better at producing everything.
Trade still wins because it's about the lower opportunity cost, not just being the fastest.
We really hope these
Oh, go for it.
So then, what's the difference between absolute advantage and comparable advantage?
Okay, let's unpack this because it is a super common point of confusion.
It really is. Think of absolute advantage as just being the fastest or most productive.
Right, like if one country can simply make more cars than anyone else, period.
Exactly. It is a measure of who can produce the most using their resources.
But comparative advantage is much more subtle. It is all about that opportunity cost.
Precisely. It is not about who makes more, but who gives up less to make it.
So even if I am better at making both cars and airplanes than you are,
You might still want to trade with me if I give up fewer cars per airplane.
because that lets us both move beyond those production curves we were talking about earlier.
It's what makes trade mutually beneficial even when one side seems better at everything.
I really hope that helps clear up the difference between raw output and strategic efficiency.
Your insights today on the Phillips curve and trade have been absolutely fantastic.